But anyway, so I typed into my text 19 times 1.25 equals, and whenever I hit the space button, it completed it for me.
Okay, that's cool.
Apple's getting a little too smart.
Yeah.
Come on in, close the door, take a deep breath.
What's up, ladies?
Not much, bruh. We're recording too, by the way.
Yeah, thank you for telling me that. I did not realize that.
Get the mic. Mic it up. So are we using the new software?
Yes.
Hello.
Oh. Oh, that's
for me?
Ryan's.
Oh.
It's my kind of swag.
Yeah. All right. Lauren Kelly, welcome back.
Thank you so much, Benji.
How do you want to experience yourself?
Today?
Yeah.
Okay, let's experience physically.
Okay. And if we run out of things to say,
Yeah.
we're just going to pick a card and go that way.
Are you saying that because you're like, sure, he doesn't know what she's going to how to talk today?
No, I just thought it'd be a good little backup plan.
I love it. Are those regular like 52 playing cards?
Those are Esther Perel's Where Should We Begin conversation starters.
Oh, how do I want to experience myself? Through one of those cards.
All right. Pick a card. Pick a card. Let's do it. Well, hold on. You pick a card and I pick a card.
Okay.
You have to answer mine and I have to answer yours.
These are really
Am I asking you this?
This one is dangerous for me.
This one is actually hilarious that I can ask
Oh,
you
no,
this.
wait a minute. I get to ask you this one? So this one isn't dangerous for me. Hey, Lauren. If you were going to get fired tomorrow, it would be for...
I guess selling all the furniture in the office on Facebook Marketplace.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be a no-go.
I feel like that's the safest thing I could say.
I was filling out a SBA loan application, and you have to like do inventory for all. I had to tally up all the dollars I have spent furnishing all 25 rooms. So yeah, I'd be pretty pissed if I had to replace all of that.
Yeah, because I promise you I would have like sold it super cheap too. So
Yeah. Okay. What's your question?
Okay. The trip that changed your life. ...
Oh, that's perfect.
I know. You're
you know
welcome.
exactly what it is, too,
Yeah.
don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard the story? Okay.
Where you couldn't stop talking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Glacier, Montana. Glacier,
What was the
Montana.
year?
I think it was 2020. Four. I think it was last August.
Okay.
Or yeah, it was with my two very good friends, Jeff and Hamed. And we normally get together in the mountains somewhere once a year. We stay in an Airbnb, a cabin in like a small town, or whatever. We just kind of like meet up, go on hikes, have fun, reconnect. And this time we were staying just outside of Glacier National Park, in this like biodome community. And one of my buddies had brought brownies that he had cooked with psilocybin. And so normally we might just like, we're in a state where it's legal. We'll go to a dispensary on the way to the cabin. We'll get, some kind of like THC gummies or something like that, and just kind of keep a little buzz all weekend. Because none of us really are like super into drinking. So
Yeah.
it's just, it's a better, it's more fun. So this time though, I had mentioned that I had never tried it, and that I thought within the company and the setting, it would be a safe kind of secluded, isolated, contained place to try.
Yeah.
So the first night, we smoke a little weed, and I take 1 gram, and it is beautiful and glorious. And I'm sitting out in the big sky of Montana and on a deck in like one of those zero gravity relaxing reclining chairs, and we're just talking and laughing, and it's wonderful. And so then the next night I was like, all right, let's go. And 7 grams later,
Oh, Benji.
I had one of the most profound experiences with myself for the next 8 or 9 hours that I can imagine anyone ever having. So that definitely changed my life because it really walked me through some things that I don't think I would have been able to get access to within myself. Yeah, even with years of going to therapy and doing EMDR and internal family systems work, this was like a light rail into that stuff. It was pretty, yeah. I mean, I don't want to be another guy on the internet talking about how like profound my psilocybin trip was, but there's a reason why there's a lot of people on the internet talking about how profound their psilocybin trips are.
The card literally says the trip that changed your life.
It changed my life in a way to where, again, like I've been in therapy for years and I've tried to work through trauma and integrate meaning for experiences that I've had. And in that 8 to 10 hours, I was able to come face to face with and interact with my hurt, my fear, my shame, and then ultimately my ego, like my identity.
Yeah.
And it just went through this process of every single one of those components of my psyche, I guess. It started out with like hostility and violence almost, but then there was like this part of me that showed up and was truly able to just kind of stand there and be unafraid and just almost like validate and appreciate all of the things that my hurt, fear, shame had been trying to accomplish for me. And then it just soothed it with compassion and love and acceptance. And so the amount of healing that I think occurred in that 8 to 10 hours kind of opened me up to be able to go way deeper into therapy, way deeper into like myself on a regular basis, and just having that working knowledge of like, oh, that's that. And I have photos on my phone, AI generated photos of like what I saw that match up, perfectly with what these figures were. Like the fear was a wall. It was like in a cave with like torch lit cave. And the wall, which was my fear, was all of these granite or slate stone wolf heads that were like snarling, and they were kind of like moving and shifting. My hurt was again like in a torchlit cave, but there was like the back of the cave was this gray stone wall, but etched into it was a spider web that was also kind of like a speaker, and it was like reverberating insult and like insult and threat at me. And then shame was like this demonic smoke monster with like these piercing black smoke tentacles that would just kind of like come in and get their hooks in me and fill me with itself. Yeah, so
that sounds intense.
It was super intense. And as Ryan alluded to, the story goes, I narrated all of it out loud for 12 hours.
No, you didn't.
For 10 hours, yeah. Yeah, my friends are very, very patient to put up with that for so long.
I love that for you.
Yeah.
And them.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question then.
Okay.
If you had, you had this beautiful trip experience, you got to interact with all these different parts of yourself. What would be the equivalent of that if it was a quote unquote bad trip? How would that affect you think?
I think trying to fight it. So I think the thing that made it a good trip was that I went into it with kind of a pretty good understanding of internal family systems already, of like, none of your parts are bad. All of your parts exist with the intention of your good as the outcome, whether that's protection or management. You know, even like, you know, my shame, as destructive as it is, at the core of that shame, it just wanted me to prevent me from being a failure, or prevent me from being, you know, embarrassed, or prevent me from being, you know, found out as whatever, a fraud or a fake or whatever. So I think going into it with that awareness, and then having two of the most loving, supportive people that I've ever had in my life with me to check in on me and kind of like keep me, I could always, like, there were like lucid intervals to where I would go through these really intense visions, and then I'd have to go pee, and I'd come out of it. Yeah. And then I connected with them, and that was like a grounding thing, to where I didn't have the experience of like disintegrating. Like my existence didn't go away. Like some people have that really bad trip, like you know, so I think that also contributed to having a good experience. Do you wish you had a mic now?
Kind of.
There's never too late.
You can just power walk over to.
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
And so every time I've done it since, I've never done more than a couple of grams since then. And every time I do it since, it's almost just like that, but lighter. To where I do feel more compassionate towards myself, more accepting of kind of the reality that is both within me and then outside of me. The next day or two, I'm just like more patient, more optimistic, less anxious. The only drawback for me is I don't sleep. It really keeps me from being able to sleep. So
gross.
Yeah. So if I do ever do it, and I haven't done it in a long, long time, but like if I ever do, or in the past, I just have to make sure like I've got a real light day, or I've got a day ahead of me the next day where I can kind of not be my best. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like the most engaging TV ever when you shut your eyes.
Yeah. Yeah. I prefer not to have my eyes open looking at anything.
I mean, I prefer that even without drug assistance. Sometimes your eyes get tired of the world, but keep going.
I tried one time, just with like a gram or two, to sit on my couch, and then like I tried to like, you know, we have the TV in the living room, and it's not very far from the couch, so it's kind of a big, you know, like in your face thing. And so I went to YouTube, and I just tried to like look up different, you know, like psychedelic playlist or whatever on YouTube, and I hated every single one of them. I didn't like it at all. And then the last time I did it, I was like everybody in the family was away. I was like home alone one night, and I laid down and I asked Alexa to play a psychedelic playlist, and it was John Waters Reimagined. It was also a big mistake. I hated that. It was just too creepy, and yeah. So anyways, I just kind of rolled with it for probably 30 minutes, and I was like, all right, stop. It was not a good experience.
Going into like a weird headspace.
Yeah.
Got
just
it.
Uneasy. Just, yeah, I like light and happy, and, you know, I don't, yeah, that first experience in Glacier was enough of like the going into the deep, dark depths type of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, my mind just keeps going to Donner Party. Like,
What?
The Donner Party.
Tell me about that.
Do you not know what the Donner Party is?
Are you saying Donner or Dahmer?
Donner.
I don't know what a Donner Party is.
Like the name Connor, but Dahmer with a D.
Yeah.
You don't know what the Dahmer party is?
No.
It was when it was like earlier in the days. You remember the game Oregon Trail?
Yeah.
It's kind of like around that time.
I thought that was the Dahmer party.
No, that's Jeffrey Dahmer.
But are you talking about the
Where
ones
they
that
eat
like
each other?
yeah?
Yeah.
Are you sure it's Donner?
I'm
Can we
positive.
fact check that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't you dare even try to.
Okay. What about the Donner party?
Well, I mean, I was like, I don't know where this is going to go. Let's see where it goes. And then, you take a whole bunch of psychedelics and you're in the mountains in a cabin. And is it snowing? I don't know. But I went there
it was
and
like
every man for himself.
Oh.
Your friends are sober. You're not.
Well, they weren't completely sober. Like they were on like a gram just to kind of like, be on a similar frequency. But yeah, that was the trip that changed my life. You want to do another card?
You go first.
Okay.
Yeah, let me see what your technique is with those. Yes.
Ooh. A question I've always wanted to ask my parents.
Are you going to ask me the question that you've always wanted to ask your parents?
No, that is you have to complete the sentence.
So actually, I'm doing this thing right now where I am asking my parents a bunch of questions just to get to know them as like adult individual people. Because I mean, I knew them growing up, but I didn't know who they were when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So, just what it was like being my age currently, because I'm 37. So like when my mom was 37, what the hell was life like for you? Because I can't imagine having me as a kid then, because I was like a preteen or something, a mess. Yeah, just how they've navigated this part of life. I know that doesn't sound like this huge, great question I've always wanted to ask them, but that's one of the things I really value about like my adult relationships with my parents is that I get to have like actual real conversations with, and they're not filtering it in this like, you're my little kid and I have to like protect you from the world.
I can't parentify you by really, yeah.
What about you?
You want to know the same question?
What would you want to ask my parents?
What a question. That's hard for me. Question I've always wanted to ask my parents. I've asked a bunch of them. Like with my mom, I've asked her the questions of like that all fall into the category of like what the fuck. I think with my dad, it's not so much of a, it's kind of like a how could you? Because I couldn't. Like when my mom and dad divorced, it was 2 or 3 years between them and his next wife, maybe a couple years, I don't know, but we got super close because she left and I was just there with my dad.
Yeah.
And kind of after the dust settled and he kind of went through his crisis with it all and then like leveled out, there was a period of time to where like we would go on really long car rides and we would hang out and watch movies together. And like it was just me and him for the most part. And we were on bowling leagues together.
Aww.
And we go to the Eastgate Family Restaurant and eat, eat out. And it was just like having... Like I had all of his attention, and then he met his last wife, Donna, got married what felt like pretty quickly, moved her daughters.
How old were you at this time?
11, 12,
okay.
Maybe. And so, and then there was years of alcoholic abuse. So she was an alcoholic, and just I've saw her physically abuse him emotionally, mentally torture me, and just created this. It was just like, all right, well, there's nobody here for me anymore. And so I that's where this kind of like, I wouldn't call it rugged individualism, but it was just like no other choice individualism. Like if it's, my therapist gave me this slogan, she's like, it seems like you kind of live your life by the mantra, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. And that's always been the way it is. Like I don't ever expect anybody else to do anything for me, to take care of me. And I overcompensate with my kids now, to where I probably do way too much for them and hold them accountable a lot less than they probably need to be held accountable to. But it's a reactionary thing. And so I think, I think the question is difficult because, that would probably be like, how could you? Like, how could I come to matter so little whenever I needed you so much? And he's going to hear this. He watches podcasts, and I just want him to know that I'm not mad, and I don't harbor a resentment, but it definitely, but that also doesn't mean that it didn't have an impact. Yeah. That I've had to be responsible for a long time.
Okay. In your family, blank calls the shots.
Benjamin Holmes. 4-year-old Benjamin Holmes. I would say my wife. I say we try to call them together, but at the end of the day, she cares about a lot more things that I could even imagine caring about. And so I just kind of go with the flow, and she kind of sets the tone on a lot of things, because I don't have the energy to insert myself in a lot of things, to a fault.
Okay.
How about you and your family? Who calls the shots? You did it to me.
Well, I mean, I'm technically like single family. You mean my nuclear family from when I was like born and grew up in?
Yeah, let's do that then. If you're
Who called the shots then?
Yeah.
I guess if I make a face like that, maybe it was me. But I got in trouble a lot. I was the bad kid. So I think in a way that was like controlling things.
What do you mean you were a bad kid? Would you ever call another kid out here bad? Don't you roll your eyes at me, young lady?
I was sitting there going, yeah.
I had a lot of connection-seeking tendencies, and they came out in destructive ways.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I said it in a really beautiful way.
Yeah. That was gorgeous.
Okay, but serious questions.
These aren't serious questions. I feel really exposed right now. Jesus Christ. All right, well, I guess let's get serious.
Enough about families. 7 Deadly Sins, you're familiar with them?
I think so, yeah.
In your opinion, which one's like the least worst and the most worst?
Jesus Christ. Can you look them up? I don't know them off the top. Like lust, greed, sloth, envy,
pride, wrath.
Pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, sloth.
Least, I would say them again slowly.
Pride.
Least is pride.
The least harmful, or like least worst.
I promote pride. Be as proud of yourself as you possibly can be, because it's not what I think that is meant to mean is hubris.
Say more.
Well, pride, if I can be proud of my child, why can't I be proud of myself and my accomplishments?
Okay.
Pride, to me, the way that I view pride is a healthy agreement with everything that is good about myself. Everything that is positive and productive and like in the sense of like, that is the way I want to experience myself, right? And so I get to be proud of those things. But the extreme of that, where it becomes, I think, dysfunctional, is hubris, to where I take that a step further and I make it to mean that I'm better than other people.
Yeah.
It's a very charitable interpretation of pride.
Yeah. So can you tell us what the...
Arrogance, seeing oneself as above others or even above God, vanity, narcissism, refusal to admit fault, and the counter virtue is humility.
Yeah. Well, then how do we, but that can't be that, because
What do you mean that can't be that?
I disagree with that interpretation of the way that we use the word.
That's okay.
We use the word like, I'm proud of you. I'm not saying that you're above God and you're above, criticism, and that you've never done anything wrong and you're better than everyone else.
I literally just said I was a bad kid, so.
But that's, anyways. Yeah.
Okay, so how about you if I read them out? Pride, greed, avarice, lust.
What is avarice?
Greed.
Oh. Well, you said greed.
Yeah, greed is avarice.
Oh, okay.
It's got avarice in quotations.
Okay.
It's also a Disturbed song that's particularly horrible.
Okay, I should look it up so that I can just see it. Okay.
Lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, sloth.
I feel like this will change over time, but first thing that I'm coming to mind with is like the least harmful. I guess would be sloth.
So ChatGPT, I'm going to go back.
Okay.
ChatGPT
You know what?
argues
This
that
is pride.
pride is excessive belief in one's own abilities. I don't get it.
Okay,
Anyways.
can you think of a situation in which pride would cause harm to others?
No.
Taking credit for somebody else's work.
Yeah.
That's theft.
Yeah. Or not admitting when you're wrong and letting someone be like executed. I was watching True Crime last night. I'm sorry, I went out.
Anyways.
Interpretations.
Okay, so you say, would you say gluttony or sloth?
Sloth.
Laziness or failure to act and utilize one's talents?
Yeah, that's the least harmful.
Harmful to who?
Everyone. Everyone. It's least harmful to anyone. Although, unless you're actually like, you've got so much stuff that you're bringing to the table, but you don't bring it to the table. That would suck. But, there's only 7, and I'm going to go with sloth.
Okay. Well, I go with pride because apparently I don't understand what the word means. What is the most harmful? Was that your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wrath.
I would say wrath.
Okay. Say more.
Well, because it's an intense anger or hatred towards another. And I think that wrath also is accompanied by, like, you can be, when you're wrathful or you enact wrath, like you're hurting. You literally are hurting people. You're harming, damaging, assaulting. I think that wrath of, like, hatred towards other people, I think that's the most harmful. I feel like it's self-evident. That's why I'm having a hard time explaining it.
Okay, you know what? I feel like you're getting really defensive here with these 7 deadly sins.
So I also think that he's got a profound understanding of what the most violent people are capable of. He and I are very, very in touch with
Don't give him credit for that. If he didn't say it, it doesn't count.
Well, and I think that even if you're just speaking sentiments and ideas and philosophies that contain hatred towards other people, then what you do is maybe you're not the one actually going out and acting on that wrath, but there will be somebody who listens and hears and feels emboldened and empowered to then go and do harm to other people. So I think wrath has not only like, I think that it has the most potential to cause widespread harm.
I could see that. You're probably right on that. I'll probably agree.
Okay, good.
However, I feel like, what if you have wrath? The only way that you're practicing it or it's coming out is you're just like, you've got some pretty rough journals. No one needs to read those because you're just scribbling and saying all the meanest things, but you walk out the door and you don't carry it with you. Like, can you channel your deadly sin to private?
Well, I mean,
that's a whole nother category.
I think you're talking about like a proper expression of anger, like a healthy containment for it, which is maybe in journaling or some like other cathartic practice.
Yeah.
That's not an action against other people. I view wrath as an action against other people, whether I'm like there's an impact to it.
Mm.
Like if you look at like God's wrath, it's never him just up in the sky pondering how angry he is at the world. No, he floods it.
Yeah.
Or he burns down cities, or he commands, his army to go and wipe out another civilization. And like there's always action associated with wrath that causes damage to other people.
Yeah, I don't know why, but for some reason I just wanted
You just want to disagree. You just want to be a
I
contrarian.
did. I was like, oh my God.
Okay, well, which one do you pick?
I mean, probably Brad. Probably Brad, but I had to find a way to
This is why... Oh, I wasn't going to say that. Never mind.
What?
It was going to be a joke.
Yeah.
I was going to say, this is why I like Shannon when she was on the podcast, because she would never disagree with me.
Oh. Well, you know what? Let's bring it back. That sounds like your pride is hurt. Because no wonder you like pride so much.
Yeah, absolutely. You remember that? She would never... She would have a disagreement, and then I would explain myself, and she'd be like, yeah, I could see that. Okay, yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, so she knows it. She's working on it. Okay. All right. What were you doing over there?
So I was looking up healthy coping mechanisms for the 7 deadly sins.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it broke it down really nicely. Each of them has the root issue. And the root issue of pride, the fear of inadequacy, and feel
defectiveness.
Superior. So I thought, like, the root issue becoming part of the breakdown really establishes, like, people who are doing these things are people. There's reasons for their behavior, and it's pretty thoughtful. But wrath being a sense of powerlessness, injustice, or unexpressed pain.
Oh, see, that's why I wanted to defend it. What's envy?
So envy.
I have a take on envy.
Ooh.
So feeling unseen or undervalued, externalized self-worth. Healthy coping mechanisms.
I don't think that at all.
The what?
I think that's wrong.
Okay, go for it.
I think we both think that's wrong.
I think envy is just, I see something that someone else has, and I want it.
Very simple.
Yeah, jealousy is different. Jealousy is about relationships. Jealousy requires 3 people involved.
Really?
Or 3, like at least 2 people and then a third. Whether the third is a job or a hobby.
Okay, yeah.
So like jealousy is I'm afraid, or I have a collection of emotions that are difficult and negative feeling associated with perceiving or actually experiencing losing something that I believe should belong to me to something else. So like like maybe I don't get invited on the next guy's trip, and I'm jealous that another person got invited in my place. And I'm like, no, but you guys are my friends. I deserve, or I'm entitled to participation. And so I feel like I'm losing that connection. I'm losing the respect. I'm losing the inclusion to a third person. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. It's like jealousy within relationships. We feel threatened and insecure that like, oh, someone else is getting the connection that I feel like is mine from you. You gave someone attention that caused me to feel like you didn't value me anymore. So I lost value. But that's jealousy. Envy is just, and envy can be a lot like jealousy, but envy can be like, I look at another group practice owner and say, ooh, I like the way that he's doing that, or I like the way she manages that, and that causes her to have more money or more followers or more, admiration in the community or something. I want that. And so then I have a choice. I can become resentful, which is an angry envy, to where I'm mad at you because you have something I don't have, or I can become inspired. And I can see that you have something that I want. I'm envious of that, but I let it motivate me to do the work to get it. So I think envy is neutral, but you can go negative into resentment, or you can go positive into inspiration.
I don't know.
Brene Brown agrees with me.
Yeah, well...
Because I agree with Brene Brown.
Yeah?
Yeah,
well,
that I believe that is her take on the difference between envy and jealousy.
Oh. So is that your take also?
Yes, because she's done the actual research and wrote it in a book called Atlas of the Heart.
See, I feel like...
And I might be wrong. The internet will tell me if I am.
So envy and kind of this like wanting things you don't have, wanting what someone else has. It also kind of gets tied into lust with me, because like lusting for something, you want something that you don't have. And also gluttony, because you want more. So they all just kind of go into this like...
I think gluttony is specific to overconsumption.
Yeah. So
gluttony is having excess and not having the breaks to restrict it.
Oh, okay. Well, then I would say, listen.
Greed maybe is what you're talking about, of like always wanting more.
But I feel like envy is to want more. What does the internet tell us?
Well, the internet's been wrong so far.
Oh, wow.
Back to pride.
I think these things are just interplaying so much with the further you dig into them. You realize one is actionable, and the action taken on its behalf intrudes into the territory of others.
And you're still not mic'd up.
I know. Jesus
Christ. Okay. So greed, according to chat, is excessive desire for material wealth or gain. Envy is jealousy toward another's traits, status, or possessions, which I think is in line with what I was talking about. Like, I see that you have something, or you get to do something, or you are something that I want. And I can either become resentful, which is a stagnant, go nowhere type of anger, to where I'm just mad because somebody else is better than me, or I can use it as inspiration and motivation to go and like do what they did to get it. Gluttony is overindulgence, particularly in food or drink. So, and then lust is intense or disordered desire, often for sexual pleasure. So, I don't know. Well, I have a follow-up question.
Okay.
Why do you ask?
Because I don't think everyone is going to have the same answer on that. Even if we chose the same thing, like we both said wrath, but our explanations are a little bit different. I think that's interesting. Also, because if it's like 7 deadly sins, those are like these pre-made like rules of good and bad. And so I want to explore like, okay, so what does that look like for you? And where does it sit? Is good and bad even a thing?
I try not to operate in good and bad.
I saw that. When you're like, what do you mean bad kid?
I mean, obviously there are like, I can't even say that. Like, I was going to say, like, obviously there are objectively bad things that you can do in the world. And I believe that. And I also don't know that everyone would agree. So we're getting into like moral relativism of like what is right for me may not be right for you.
Yeah.
But I think as a society, we have to agree on some like minimum standards for what is right and wrong, just so that we can all have a chance at survival.
Are you trying to convince me to like
No,
follow
yes,
follow
please,
societal rules?
Please, no, just join my cult.
There is such thing as bad milk. It can go bad. It is bad. It's spoiled.
But don't, like, if you let it go bad in the right way, doesn't it just become like cottage cheese or something?
Why did you have to do that? Why did you have to take the like one thing that I could think of and be like, but actually, let's reframe it because there is a positive outcome.
No, I don't think cottage cheese is a positive outcome. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess like, but that's not a moral action, or that's not a. Yes. So okay. Yes, there are bad, like food can go bad, things like that. But like, when you talk about weather, like, oh, the weather's really bad today. Well, maybe not to someone else who depends on it being that way for their crop or for, so that they could get out of work or whatever. So like my bad experience could be experienced by someone else as exactly what they needed at that time. And here's the crazy thing. Like, I can't imagine, I've never had the type of faith that could look down the barrel of like leukemia in a child and be like, well, the Lord's got a plan. All things work out for the good. I think that those are just bad situations. I think that those are just, and I can't explain them. I'm not at all about to try and like, solve that question of like, why do bad things happen to innocent. And I have all of the fucking theological garbage in my head that just answered the question because there are none that are innocent. Anyways, but yeah, like whenever a child is born or like shortly after they're born, like, leukemia or some other type of like incurable disease that they're gonna, like there's no good in that. But some people find some way to view it that way after the fact. Like they find some way to reach gratitude, or I don't know that I could do it.
I find that surprising.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, maybe not like that specific of a scenario, but being in a bad situation, a bad circumstance, whatever, being able to like find good out of it. Like, I feel like that's even kind of what we talked about last time we were on here together, talking about grief.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, you don't see positives. I got it.
We did talk about grief last time, but I don't think that we arrived at like grief has to end in good.
No, we definitely didn't.
Yeah.
Arrive there.
Right. So yeah, grief, the end of relationships or the end of life or the change in circumstances. I think that there's just sometimes not good in them, but we can accept them and live through them, kind of like what we were talking about with Michael DeBay last week. Of his answer was he wanted to experience himself fully, and that's kind of what you and I were talking about, of like just all of it.
Yeah. Because
without the grief and the devastation and the sadness and the pain, how would we even recognize
right
that the other end of that spectrum, and vice versa, And so we only have one because we have the other.
Yeah. You're right. I agree with you.
Okay, I know. Who's on over here? Okay. My relationship to money changed when?
Oh. That's a hard one. I feel like it's changed multiple times. Two things are coming up to mind for me. I remember early 20s being in a situation where I was paying for great value spaghetti noodles with dimes and having this moment, this like humility moment of like, God, okay, this is where I'm at. And that kind of changed my perspective on money as just like, okay, but I can still survive. Like even with the least amount of it, like I can make that work. And I would say semi-recently having a job where I made really, really good money, but I didn't feel like there's purpose in it. And so it really stood out. I mean, it like there's a finished product with it, but I didn't feel like purpose kind of thing in it. So just my relationship with money is understanding I don't value it as much as feeling purpose. I don't know.
My relationship money changed whenever I started to have a little bit of it.
Well, that makes sense.
But it changed in a way that I didn't expect. It just, or you know how they say like money doesn't really change you. It just amplifies who you already were.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what I have discovered is having more doesn't make me less anxious about it.
Oh, ooh.
Like I'm more afraid now of being broke
Yeah.
and poor again than I was whenever I was broke and poor.
Yeah.
So that's been the change for me, is like the anxiety of not having enough, not being able to cover payroll or not being able to pay myself, you know, being a business owner. And there's no fucking way I would ever go back willingly to working for somebody else.
Yeah.
Like it's all worth it because, you know, I have to this point been able to figure it out. And so, yeah, but that was an unexpected realization of like whenever I was truly living paycheck to paycheck and had kind of a cap on how much I could make, and realizing like getting out of that to where, you know, money is better and I have more saved and I have little policies here and accounts here and you know, in a real crisis I could cover I think most things that I can imagine happening. And I don't feel any more secure.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the expectation that money was going to make me feel better did not happen. So I think my faith in money, my belief in money is what changed.
Okay.
To like, it still doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, I saw somebody on CNN this morning. He was saying that he was talking about taxes and why we should tax the rich. And he was like, the difference between $30,000 and $50,000 in a household is incredible. Like that really, really does make an enormous difference in the quality of lifestyle, the overall health of the children in the home when the parents make that much more of a difference in their income. The difference between $10 million a year and $15 million a year is absolutely nothing. There's no quality of life change. There's no health benefits. There's nothing, not a single positive outcome associated with a change in wealth when you're at that level. Yeah. So maybe, you know, I'm not at that level, obviously, but I think I am in a category to where like more or like 20,000 or 30,000 less 5 or 6 years ago would have been the difference of like real true financial crisis or real true financial windfall. Yeah. Whereas now it's like it fluctuates so much with being a business owner. Like some months I earn at a rate of money that I never thought I would earn. And then other months I don't even pay myself because it's summer or it's holidays or whatever. And I'm covering PTO at the end of the year. So like, and so, yeah, it's an interesting thing to be learning.
I feel like I'm going to continue to have a evolving relationship with money. Yeah. Especially even after that. The little statement you had.
All right, one more, because you have a 2 o'clock, right?
If you could be famous for one thing, what would it be?
Podcasting.
Okay. Okay. Well, that was easy.
Yeah. I mean, that's not the, like, obviously I'm not, you know, we bought some equipment and and we're doing the best that we can with lighting and production and sound and things like that. But if it takes, it takes. And if anybody ever wants to eventually pay us to do this, then great. But I think I got recognized in the gym the other day because of the podcast. It was Ryan's friend. But it was still unsettling. I was just in the gym. That's like a space where I just go put headphones in, and then to have somebody, and he was a very friendly guy. Lawler, right? You're cool. We're cool. Thank you for coming and chatting with me. And it very well also could have been somebody who was more intrusive or wanted to like be like socially inappropriate in that setting. Like we ended up in side by side machines, and I was happy to chit chat. It was a cool conversation that we had. But it could have also gone the other way of being recognized and somebody having a disagreement or just being annoying.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I actually even want to be famous.
I had a medical professional recognize me from the podcast last time.
Really?
Yep. I was like, shit.
Like a medical professional that you went to go see, and they were like, "Oh, hey, I watched your podcast."
Yeah. They're like, "I think I just saw you on this podcast." And I was like,
that's wild. Because I look at our views and like stuff like that, and it's not a lot. We get like maybe 100 views per episode, but yeah, that feels like so. But again, also 100 people that I don't know take the time to watch these episodes or listen to them on Spotify or Apple. Like, that's wild.
yeah.
That's like, that's insane to me. That already feels like fame. That 100 people are, and in some cases like 300 or 400 people, and in other cases like on some of the Instagram posts, like with Adam and Paul and Evan Slaughter, like tens of thousands of people see these things, and I'm just like, wow.
You gotta think about the time that every time you sit down here to talk for an hour and a half, the combined views mean that you get watched for maybe 80 to 120 hours for just one conversation.
Yeah, that's nuts to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, I'm grateful for it, but again, like I don't know that I want to be
Famous for it.
famous for it. Yeah.
We're going to make you famous for it now.
Okay, cool.
So-
How are you going to make me famous?
I don't know.
All right. Well,
For next time.
yeah. Going back to the first question, if you were to get fired tomorrow, it would be for not being on time to your next session at 2 p.m.
I have 5 minutes.
Thank you
Bye.
for being on the podcast. We didn't clap.
Fuck. One person.
All right, Ryan, you do it.
Thank
Cool.
you very much. See you later.
Bye.